Hey, so I'm going to break down two of the most common false light manipulation tactics that I observe in the New Age spiritual community. I've gotten to know these patterns in real life with real life people affected by false light beings, as well as I see it a lot in spiritual communities, in my own community especially, and in other communities, which is why I want to talk to you about it, to share with you how to recognize it and protect yourself from this sort of false light, gaslighting, and manipulation. So, the first tactic that false light manipulators use is word salad. So, if you don't know what word salad is, it's a term in narcissistic abuse recovery that means when a narcissist uses a string of words that don't really make sense. And how this tactic applies to the false light is that they often share what looks to be deep and profound insights or knowledge on the surface, um, but it's kind of word salady. Like, you don't really know what they're talking about. Like, some sentences are like, what is going on here? Some sentences are confusing. So there'll usually be like sentences that make sense, followed by sentences that don't, followed by sentences that make sense. And then here's the next part of the tactic that we're going to go into. So they use these confusing, manipulative, performative, deep word salad tactics to create confusion. This confusion lowers your vibration and makes you susceptible to their manipulation. When false light beings gaslight, they do it very, very subtly. Very, very subtly. It is the vulnerability of the nervous system to which they are then able to set a false reality into your mind. So they create confusion, they look deep, they look profound. Then they'll add a couple sentences into their word salad that are intended as a sort of psychic attack that manipulate your reality. And they usually always invert true spiritual teachings, always. And they can do this in many different ways. I'm getting a little confused thinking of it all. But I call this star freeze. This is my term for this. It's called star freeze. It's when my brain starts seeing so many complexities that it just does like a processing overload, power off, because I'm seeing too many loops, and I'm seeing like this entire constellation of connections and understandings that my brain can't process at once, so my brain shuts off. But by the way, this is called synthesis and pattern recognition, and if you want to learn how to do it, check my description and check out my shop. I have a journaling framework that teaches you how to do this. Synthesis, pattern recognition, how to like see all the complexities in depth. And this is really, really good for building emotional intelligence, which is the best form of intelligence. But anyways, let's get back into the false light tactics. They use word salad mixed with illusion injections. Let's call it that. An illusion injection. They inject a false reality into your mind, and they do that by first destabilizing you and making you vulnerable. What makes people so vulnerable to this is that they already have narcissistic abuse conditioning in their mind. So that is the first false light tactic, word salad, performative depth. That is the one, like, that's the thing too, is that for me, when I see false light manipulation tactics, I can, it feels like a boundary violation. Like, it feels intrusive in my soul and my nervous system. And that's part of how I can tell. This is how we tell these things. You trust your gut, And then if you want to, which I'm a fucking psychology nerd, like complete nerd, if you want to, you can actually like decode it and I do this, see what is actually happening in the manipulation. But you can always feel emotional manipulation and spiritual manipulation because it always causes like confusion. But where a lot of people get stuck is they think that that confusion is like them not being smart enough or them not knowing. And that's where the illusion comes in. So, that illusion that you're just not smart enough to understand it, or this person just knows more than you, is the illusion that makes you compatible to being gaslit by the false reality. If you don't, this is really deep, so I hope it's making sense. If you have any questions ever, let me know in the comments. Any questions? Don't be afraid. Don't be ashamed. Questions are welcome here and you are not judged. Okay. So, if you, the illusion that you are, not smart enough, or that this person is better than you, makes you activates an energetic link where they're then able to condition you with their false light messages and narratives. And usually they'll insert some sort of reality of helplessness, powerlessness, enabling. There's many different ways that these false light beings do it. But yeah. So the second false light manipulation tactic is called hyper attunement, and it's related to psychosis. So I have talked about this in some of my older videos. If you've been on the channel for a while, you might remember this. But hyper attunement is basically when people are able to mirror you and know things about you that they shouldn't know. So I've witnessed this with false light spiritual manipulators a lot, where they can read my energy field and they basically pretend to be you. Like they say stories about themselves that are your stories, like that they know about, that's you. And then it makes you think like, "Oh my gosh, we're so related. This person is just like me." And it's like you've never told them about yourself, the things that they know. So you really think like, "Oh my gosh, this person is my twin flame. This person is my soulmate. They know so much about me." But really what it is this hyper attunement, and it's a very dark spiritual manipulation tactic that I think is advanced. I'm still learning more about this hyper attunement tactic. I haven't learned everything there is to learn about it, but I've definitely experienced it a lot. So yeah, it's a dark manipulation tactic, and creates that twin flame false soulmate bond. And this usually comes from the intelligence of some spiritual manipulators. So it's like when my synthesis and pattern recognition skills are in the hands of someone that is malicious and predatory and aligned with the false light, that sort of very advanced pattern recognition skills and synthesis skills can be used to read your field and read kind of who you are based on your body language and the words that you speak and kind of the ways that you behave, where they synthesize that to find your vulnerabilities, right? And so not only are they finding out things about you to mirror back to you, they're also looking for your vulnerabilities to see if they can get access to you emotionally, spiritually, and energetically. So there's a lot of danger to this, but it's not really dangerous because, you know, we live in a parasitic world, and everyone who was born onto this earth was subject to parasitism and having their energy siphoned and having their energy stolen from them. As soon as every single person who's born on this earth who was in the Matrix at one point had this happen to them. You can always call your power back. But yeah, I'm just kind of tired of seeing false light messaging just like fly under the radar. So I hope that this message goes out to people who need this sort of understanding to be able to see through these false light manipulation tactics. Trust your feelings. If you feel confused, that's a sign that someone is emotionally manipulative. If a teacher isn't explaining in a way that you understand, it's possible that you don't have the background knowledge to understand it, or it's possible that they're being being a manipulator. Okay? So always take both into account. So you could not have the background knowledge to understand what they're saying, and they could be emotionally manipulative. So trust your feelings, trust your boundaries, and if a teacher's not explaining things in depth with examples and logic, and they're just like saying a bunch of word salad that tries to make sense but doesn't, it's kind of a red flag. So, yeah.